This program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Why, hello. Once again, here we are in the Fletch Nation.
Good morning, Kevin.
Hi, how are you, Roy?
I'm good.
We're coming to you from the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse on Coursey Boulevard in Baton Rouge, the state's capital, where you should come by. I just had you know what I just found out that they do here? Cheeseburgers. Oh my God. They make a great bacon cheeseburger here.
And when you come, ask to put them little beans on the top. Get you a bean burger.
You know, those bourbon baked beans.
Oh yeah, I
Tastes
like
good
that.
on a cheeseburger.
Yeah. So Kevin, we had us a football game this past weekend.
Yeah.
And everybody's tuned in about it and talked about it, and everybody wants to fire the coach and all that. I got something to say.
Okay.
It's real simple. Coach Kelly took this program over. It was in tatters. Remember the Texas Bowl last year?
Yes.
Anybody forget that? I know you won't.
A lot of people seemingly.
I know you want to forget it, but don't forget it. He's brought in a lot of transfers. That tells you that the program was a mess right there, that he had to use the transfer portal. And so they started out slow against Florida State. They played it was tough, miserable first half, but Florida State didn't play well either. Neither team ranked. Who knew what was going to happen? And everybody wants to talk about how this quarterback that we have,
Jaden Daniels.
and I got to tell you something. I like the way the coach handled that. He stuck with him. He wouldn't give up on him. And in the second half, the kid responded, especially when they started to hurry up offense. And you know, folks, if that extra point had been kicked and we might have won that game in overtime, you would be talking about that 99-yard drive with 1:25 left instead of, gee, let's fire the coach.
Yeah, and
Now,
by
come
the way,
on, y'all.
if they would have made that kick, we would all been talking about Coach Kelly was the greatest hire in the history of
Unbelievable. Well, I got to tell you, you want to know something? I think he still is the greatest hire we could have at LSU. And that program is in good hands. It's going to be fine. And I like this quarterback. I really do.
Well,
I like this quarterback. And by the way, there was one other thing that happened on that drive, I think, at the end. And I didn't catch this, and my son pointed it out to me. The young man Neighbors, who dropped the 2 punts,
Yes.
caught 2 balls during that drive. Coach Kelly didn't sit him down. He went back to it. He stuck with him. And I like that about him. He had to build the confidence in that team that he was going to stand behind them, and I think he did. And we lost. I got it. We shouldn't have. I know that. If a field goal and an extra point, that's what got blocked. We make those, we win the football game. And I'll tell you one other thing. If we had won the football game, Florida State fans would be calling their coach the dumbest coach on the face of the planet. And you want to know why? You're on the 1-yard line and you pitch the ball back instead of handing it off and letting your back run either over the goal line or far enough, and then you kick a field goal and you win the football game. And he didn't do either. He pitched the ball back, and they fumbled. So that's my take on the game. What's yours?
My take on the game is it was the first game of a brand new coach, and what were we expecting? You know, that's the way I feel about it. Basically, it's like this is a brand new coach. He's only got what do you have? Less than 40 returning players, and they weren't necessarily the superstars of the LSU football team.
No, and the one superstar on the team kind of copped a whole attitude.
Keisha
Butte.
Yeah, he was a little disappointing.
Yeah, well, he copped an attitude. I mean, he wasn't having a good game, but then he copped an attitude, and it kind of ruined the whole thing for me. But I got to tell you, I like the way we stuck in it. We lost that big defensive lineman who has apparently torn Achilles.
Yep, he's out for the season.
Yeah, but we lost him in the middle of the game, and we drug back and we did what we had to do, and then that drive was magnificent. It was a magnificent 99-yard drive. Just kicked the field goal, the extra point, and everybody talks about that for 20 years. Kelly's first game, they drove the ball 99 yards with 1:25 seconds left. Completely different spin, isn't it?
No, and because they lost, it is a completely different spin, and because they lost, we're hearing him compared to Curly Hallman and Jerry DiNardo.
Ridiculous.
I just think it's too early to make those kinds of comparisons.
I don't think it's even fair to make those. Curly Hallman and Jerry DiNardo come to this school. They didn't coach at Notre Dame. Brian Kelly did.
No, they coached at Piddling-sized schools. Years before they came to LSU, they had Piddling records.
That's what I'm talking about. And Kelly came here with a pedigree and look, he's only 3-8 against top 10 teams at Notre Dame. You recruit at the time with the academic standards that were imposed at Notre Dame and go 3-8 against top 10 teams, you're doing pretty damn good.
Well,
and he played for national. I think he played for national championship twice, or got in those playoffs a couple of times. I mean, he's a really, really good coach, and I really respect the program that we have at LSU now. I really do.
I think it's just as likely that 3 weeks from now we'll want to be having a ticker tape parade for Brian Kelly.
I don't know if this year. I don't know if we are.
Well, I just think that
unless we beat Alabama,
he's going to win some games.
Yeah.
And I believe he's going to win more than he loses this season. I don't think that LSU is going to have a stellar season. I think it may be possible they don't even go into postseason play.
They may not. But
what happened to giving the coach a rebuilding year?
I'll tell you what, though. If our quarterback continues to improve like he showed in the second half, we may have better than just a break-even season. We may have a pretty decent season.
And don't forget that the backup quarterback is a weapon too. I mean, Nussmeier's he's nothing to sneeze at.
He's good. He's a good ball player. But anyway, that's our stupid take on it. And but I just got tired of hearing them. How would I say? The bitching.
Yeah, you can say that. Bitching.
Yeah, bitching. I got tired of hearing the
LSU
bitching.
fans are some of the bitchiest fans I have ever seen in college sports. Ever.
My son went to the Superdome, went to the game. He walks out of the game, left a little bit early, but he's that way. He wanted to get home. And the first thing he called me and he said, the first thing was, boy, these are the bitchingest fans I've ever heard of in my life. I said, what do you mean, Dan? He said, I've already heard people talking about firing Kelly. He said, that's crazy. One game. Give it up, okay?
Oh my God.
There's a lot of things wrong with LSU, but Brian Kelly's not one of them.
Well,
and the athletic department's not one of them either, by the way.
It's time for us to take our first break of the program. When we come back, we're going to talk about Mein Führer, the President of the United States and his address to the nation last week. And more interesting stuff, plus John Carmouche. That's all coming up on Fletch Nation on the Pelican.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Back with Fletch Nation, Mr. Roy Fletcher right here. I'm Kevin Gallagher. You can kind of tell because we've got our names right under us here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So they put that up there so we'll know.
And they spell it right.
I've got to ask you, did you watch or did you see highlights of President Biden's address to the nation
Well,
last week,
who
where he
could,
basically told 74 million of us that we're threats to national security?
Who could not miss that? Who could not? I mean, no matter if you saw it or not live, who could miss it? I mean, I have never in my life seen anything or heard anything so outrageous.
First of all,
now I want to tell you though. I'm going to tell you, Biden and them decided to do that not because they made a mistake. They did that because they knew that polling data was telling them to do that they could get away with that they could say that and get away with it. And they have.
Well, I think a lot of Democrats believe it wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
I think,
he rallied his
base.
base.
I talk to Democrats all the time, and they believe it.
Let me tell you who else let me tell you who he's really talking to. He's talking to the MEH, the Republicans. Mm-hmm. That's who he's talking about, 15%. And to the MEH independents. I don't care. I don't. There are
millions of Americans who don't want to buy into politics one way or the other. They can't stand it.
But they see all the stuff, and they want to have an easy explanation. Biden gave them one. They're all fascists. They're all Hitlers. They're all fascists.
I've got to ask you though, because you are an expert in political messaging. If you're going to make a case that your political opposition are a bunch of fascists, why would you want to do it with such fascist imagery?
I thought
the red lights and surrounded by military. I mean, he had Marines in dress blues standing behind.
Well, that's what they say. The truth is that I thought the optics of it weren't handled real well. They were really.
I've never seen lighting like that for a presidential address.
It was insanity.
It was like something out of Star Wars. It was like the evil emperor.
It really was. It as you said. Where's the Reichstag? You know, I mean.
Well, the body language. I mean, there's a still.
Absolutely.
Going, Adolf Hitler did just that. He two fists shaking and.
Well, he was across the. But yeah, that's absolutely correct, Kevin. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The optics and the image, and then the screaming. Because I mean.
Yeah, he was shrieking.
He was shrieking, absolutely. And when you put it all together, given that hard-edged message, when I first saw it, I said, well, why didn't y'all just go and have him with the press out in front of the White House or something, and just let him say about a minute of that, because that's all he needed to say. That's about all that came out of the speech was about a minute of it, okay? And then it would have looked natural. It would have green. It would have looked like Joe was being nice and saying some real hard. And he could have gotten by with that a whole lot better than what happened. But I'm telling you, what it did was it just rallied. It just rallied his base. And the they went, oh, well, gee, he maybe have a point here. He may have a point.
What about older Americans in the base that are old enough to remember that imagery from World War II and from when they were kids and seeing it in newsreels and television?
If you're 65 and you're still voting for Joe Biden, you don't have to worry about it.
That's my mother, 87 years old.
I understand. I mean, I get it. And so that's not going to scare them. That's not going to bother them any. They want to hear that. And what they heard was what they wanted to hear, okay? That
Orange man bad.
Orange man red.
And if you voted for him, you're bad
You're
too.
a fascist. You're a fascist, which I kind of resent. But, everybody wants to call everybody names, but it seems like we get called names more than anybody else.
So, Roy, it sounds to me like you're saying that speech last week is not going to backfire on him.
It has not backfired on him, frankly. There's some numbers out yesterday. I think the Wall Street Journal poll, national poll, maybe it was Sunday. I mean, his numbers are up, pumping up to around 44, 45 positive, which is some of the highest numbers he's had in a year. I'm literally, at least 8 months. You must understand that what you hear, remember a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the two worlds. There's the world that wants to inflation and recession and crime and the border. Mm-hmm. And then there's the world that wants to hear gendered identity, climate change,
use
and
your pronouns.
They're all fascists.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the two worlds. And there's something in the middle, and I think that they're thinking that maybe by using this fascism sort of tonality and words, that they can move what little mushy there is toward them rather than. Now, here's the other thing that's happening at the same time, and that is that Trump is interjecting himself, or being interjected, into the midterms very aggressively by Trump and by the national press. And so if you don't like Trump, but you still might vote Republican, well, what we'll do is we'll start screaming fascist. Trump is bad, orange man bad, MAGA Republican. Who are the MAGA? Anyway, the whole point of it is that we want to make them extreme so that the mushy won't vote for them.
I don't want to vote for them. They're bad people.
Exactly. That's the whole point, dude.
They're bad people.
That's what they're up to.
But don't people understand that usually when someone is telling you these people are bad people, they're usually the bad people. History has told us this over and over and again.
It really has.
Remember, the Jews were the problem.
Yeah. And
we got to round up the Jews and put them all in camps.
The notion that, again, last week I talked about Mussolini and what he defined as a fascist. And it's nothing out of the state, all in the state. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not Republicans.
That's the DNC.
That's the Democratic Party. And every answer, every solution has to do with what? The state, power, and spending more money.
We have the solution. Give us more tax money.
That's exactly right. We're going to tax you to death. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole point there. So I don't think that. I think that's a very, very ugly way to go about this. But if that's the way you want to go about it, then we're going to go about it our way.
Well, with 30 seconds left in this segment, and we may have to let this question hold over, but let me pose it of you anyway. To what extent does the GOP need to step up? And as Obama said, they come with a gun, or they come with a knife, you come with a gun.
And we will talk about that in the next segment.
They go low,
a little bit,
you go lower.
Before we talk about Mar-a-Lago, and the whole deal going on there. Y'all stick around with us.
Fletch Nation returns in a moment.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The Mazda CX-50. Confident on and off-road performance and intelligently designed utility inside and out.
The all-new Mazda CX-50 has arrived and is on sale right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, gang. Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to Fletch Nation. Still to come in the program, another visit with our friend coastal attorney John Carmouche. We've had some people say, could you run that third segment with John Carmouche
one more time? We'll do it one more time.
That'll be coming up later in the program. So, at what point do the Republicans start to seriously fight?
Well, the point was, seriously fighting back was Labor Day. I mean, the campaign started. The problem is, it seems as if they don't know what ground to fight back on. Look, guys, shut up about Hunter Biden. We know that it might lead to the president, but you don't have the power to get it there yet. So get to the place where you're going to talk about something that makes a difference. Inflation, the border, crime. The crime thing in this country has gone completely out of control. This thing in Memphis demonstrates absolutely what we've been saying. Eliza Fletcher. Isn't that her name?
Yes.
Fletcher. Wasn't that her last name?
Yeah, that was her last name.
Sure is. Anyway, so she take a nice little lady, I mean, obviously a sweet woman, primary education person, takes a job and gets murdered, kidnapped and murdered by a fella that has a record as long as the Beatles' White Album. It is unbelievable what this man has done in his life, and it is unbelievable what the criminal justice system has allowed this man to do. Put in prison in 2020 for kidnapping, and was back out on the streets and kidnapped this woman and killed her within 2 years. It's unbelievable what this is, and this is criminal justice reform. that we've talked about and talked about. It's just nothing more than release the criminal reform.
Catch and release program.
It is all it is.
And this problem's not just judges. The problem is people who sit on parole boards. And
DAs that are owned by George Soros. And Philadelphia, a crime wave in Philadelphia with that goofy DA over there that's out of control, beyond anything they've ever seen there. Oh, but let's see. Now, New York, Mayor Adams said, oh yeah, well, crime is down 8% this month compared to year over, violent crime. Except, guess what? Year over last year was up 50-something%, and you're still, so you're not down any. You just, it's just fewer number of people getting killed right now. That's all it amounts to. This stuff is crazy. And the LADA, a complete goofball. I think in Seattle, crime is up like 300%. Something 280, 300.
It's up there.
It's unbelievable.
High triple digits.
Chicago, Labor Day weekend. Come on, the 13-year-old girl, a bunch of people killed, and the Democrats don't want to take ownership of this. Every mayor where this is occurring is a Democratic city. Every place where this is occurring, including Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
And almost every place where it's occurring has one of these liberal district attorneys.
Absolutely.
Who has helped to win election by funds from George Soros.
Now, I won't call our DA liberal, but I can say this much. You go to New Orleans and see what, I mean, that same thing down there. And we've already discussed that, Mayor.
Well, I will say this for New Orleans this past weekend, for Labor Day weekend, with a major sporting event and a huge event going on. They got through with relatively little. I mean, nothing. Nothing just egregiously terrible happened in New Orleans.
Right. Except I had a friend of mine who walked out of the Superdome, and he and his wife were robbed. Right there. They put it on Facebook. He's a former state senator.
Wow.
Robbed right there. So I don't want to hear about New Orleans either. I mean, okay, so 14 people didn't get blown away at the Superdome. Oh, great. That's a victory, isn't it? Do you feel safe?
Well, that's where we are now.
Do you feel safe going out? Yes,
we're looking at it wasn't so bad as a victory.
Here's what we're looking at. Everybody knows the rules. You don't go out and run early in the morning, young lady, because you might get kidnapped and murdered and raped. That's the rules. That's what we're living in. That's the rules that we have, right? We don't talk about them, but that's the rule. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows now we must live in fear and we must constantly be on guard.
And by the way, they don't only know it around here and around and in any other, they know it around LSU. They know it around LSU. Maybe they know it on campus. I don't know.
Well, the LSU police late last week came out and said, well, a couple of these incidents that everybody's talking about, we investigated them, and they said one kidnapping was not a kidnapping at all. It was a simple assault and battery.
Oh, that's all it was?
The shooting that occurred was not an armed robbery. It was two guys who knew each other and decided to shoot each other.
Okay. So if you're going to shoot your friend?
It's okay.
It's okay. It's not anything to... Please. That's just unbelievable that they would say that. But I don't want to get into that. Now, let's talk about something else, which is what some people would say, oh, but what about that crime? The documents. The document.
Oh, yeah. Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. We got Mar-a-Lago. Hey, guess what happened in Mar-a-Lago? The federal judge down there gave its special master ruling. And that's what Trump got. That means that the special master will look at the documents, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But you know what the Democrats have decided to do? The judge is corrupt. Why is the judge corrupt? Appointed by Trump. Well, exactly that case back in the day with Bill Clinton's sock drawer, where he had the tape. What judge ruled on? Was that an Obama judge?
Why, I think.
Or was that a Clinton judge? I don't remember. Either one. They should have recused themselves according to the liberals, but that was okay then. Now, oh no, we got to recuse. Please shut up. If you want to argue the merits, argue the merits. That's the way I feel about it. But the notion that every time I'm saying this to conservatives too, every time a judge rules in a way that you don't like, it's not that the judge is corrupt. Maybe the law is that's the way it is. And they'll go to the Court of Appeal, and they'll find out if this woman, Miss Cannon, Judge Cannon's ruling can stand up. But either way, shut up about everybody being corrupt. I'm tired of that. Either side. It kind of makes me angry. If you want to defend democracy, then you have to defend the institutions of democracy. And we're a democratic republic. So defend the institutions. And while we're doing that, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to finish up a Mar-a-Lago.
Take it away.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
The Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
So, as promised, it's time to talk about Mar-a-Lago a go-go.
Well, so the judge Cannon ruled that there needed to be a special master to look at the paper, okay, or all the documents. Now, she said that, look, I mean, this is an extraordinary situation. It's unprecedented, and we need to make sure that people understand that it's being done fairly. I appreciate that. I think what the judge was really saying is that due process sort of dictates a situation like this. It might just dictate a special master. She said that, look, there are 500 pages of documents that may come under the attorney-client privilege, which is an extraordinary number of pages that may come under attorney. And you have to protect attorney-client privilege whether you like Trump or not. I want to make this clear. Whether you like Trump or not, if you had documents or something like this happen to you, something extraordinary like this happened to you in your home, and the FBI come in and took 500 pages of your communique or whatever with your lawyer, including medical records, by the way, including banking records, all kind of things, and you didn't raise hell about attorney-client privilege, then you're silly. And if the court is going to undermine that privilege, then what's happened is your due process rights have been undermined. Your Fourth Amendment rights have been undermined. All of that has been undermined, and whether you like Trump or not, you ought to be about wanting to protect that kind of thing as much as you can. Protect attorney-client, because one day the shoe may be on the other foot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what our judicial process is supposed to be about. Is protecting, is to finding the truth, and at the same time protecting the rights of everybody concerned.
I think what's happened in America, Roy, and it's not only the political factions, but people in general, we all become more about the outcome we want.
Absolutely.
And we don't care about the process anymore. We just want the outcome.
We do forget the process, and the fact is that if the process is fair, the outcome will be better. If the process is tainted, and if the process is the prosecution gets to decide which pieces of paper they're going to say, or under attorney-client, that's ridiculous. Okay, that's number one.
As you pointed out during the commercial break earlier, if the press secretary, the White House press secretary, can make bold statements about how the 2016 election was the result of fraud, why is it suddenly so terrible for 4 years later for a different president to be saying the election was a result of fraud? Suddenly that's sedition.
That's supposed to be the way it is. That's supposed to be the debate. And they have fake electors. I'll tell you something. If you have an alternative set of electors and you're going to contend under some kind of reasonable, relatively reasonable, or even not so reasonable legal theory, that these electors should not vote, but the alternative should, but you have to have the alternatives there. Why are they suddenly fake electors?
Because that's a fiery term to use in the media.
Absolutely, and that's wrong.
That pushes people's buttons.
That's wrong. I mean, nobody supports what happened on January 6th in terms of the violence, but I do support the notion that they had a demonstration, that they petitioned their government, that they were outside. If they had acted in an appropriate manner, and most of them did, but if they had acted in an appropriate manner, they would have still been criticized and still been called insurrectionists and all of that stuff. That's what protests are. Now, I'll tell you who understands protests: the Democrats, because in 20 they burned down cities and stuff. Okay. Now that was all okay. That was all
mostly peaceful demonstrations.
Mostly peaceful demonstrations, right? Now, if they were marching down the street, saying whatever they wanted to say, that's one thing. But to go and do that. Oh, I remember 2016 at the inauguration. Remember that? They burned down Washington, D.C. Remember? What is this, folks? And nobody wants to protect the integrity of the system.
It's the people who vote D, so it's okay.
Yeah, well,
we have this huge double standard. It's like if you vote D, you can.
And by the way, you don't go to jail if you do that if you're a Democrat. You go to jail if you do that if you're a Republican.
Okay. For 10 years.
I hate to say it that way, but that's the way it appears to a lot of people.
Well, the guy who recently got convicted of assaulting the cop at the Capitol,
well, it's fair.
Those people, they never should have crossed those barricades. They never should have rushed those guards and cops.
No, we all agree with that. But the fact that they had 100,000 people there and they had a demonstration and somebody was speaking and that to me was fine. To me is fine. The fact that they went down to the Capitol, that to me was fine. What was not fine was when they turned it into a violent and disobeying the law. But the other thing that the judge noted, that at least two that she just saw from a cursory examination, at least two of the documents that were supposedly a problem were not so much a problem at all. And so I think that the special master can weed through this. I don't think it slows down the investigation to any great extent, maybe a month, but maybe 2 months. But the point of it is that it's at least defending somebody's due process rights, whether you like him or not. That's not what the deal is. You don't have rights because the majority like you. You have rights because the majority don't. It's the way it is. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the way our
republic is supposed to work.
Yep. The majority decides, but the minority's rights are retained. That's the way it works. It's the way it works. And if you don't like that, then you don't like the system. And if you don't like the system, well, then that's your problem, not mine. But anyway, I'm real big on. I think we need to back up a little bit now and start talking about protecting the institutions that we have, because every institution that we have is under strain and is under pressure and is being attacked. And we'll be right back.
More of Fletch Nation coming up on the Pelican.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend. and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
If you've been watching the show consistently for the past few weeks, you know we've been having a series of conversations with Coastal Attorney John Carmouche, not only about his mission to help get some of the energy companies who are have done damage to the coast to do what's the right thing to do and clean up the mess that they made, but also his general views about, well, Louisiana and other matters.
And his vision on Louisiana's future and his hopes for it, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been an interesting little series.
Once again, John Carmouche with Roy Fletcher.
We're with John Carmouche here talking about all things Louisiana, frankly. And John is a noted coastal and land and environmental lawyer in our state that's had a tremendous impact on the state of Louisiana and the fight for our coast. John, we were talking in the last segment about dramatic change for Louisiana, and you said one of the things that we need is how we deal with business. In terms of what do you think are the kinds of things that we need to be looking at? It relates to bringing business into Louisiana. Hell, they're leaving California. They're going to Florida and they're going to Texas. How about a little something in between here, you know, for the folks, you know? But that's, what do you think?
I think it goes back to what we were talking about, dramatic change. And it all comes together as one, right? If you can't just change the business environment, you can't just change education, you can't just change crime, you have to have it all.
Right.
And to be honest, why shouldn't we? You know, we live in a great state, we have a great environment for businesses. All we have to do is have enough guts to make the dramatic change. And the first thing businesses look at is all of these CEOs they're getting around the country is the first thing to ask is, what's the education like? All of these people have kids and have families. The next thing is, what's the crime like? So
that's not good.
Even though the business, you might give tax deductions to businesses that done in the past, if we don't change the core of what why these families want to move here, they're not going to come. They're not going to come. So you got to change it all. You got to change your education. You got to change. Why is there so much crime here? I mean, come on. This is something that has to be changed, and it can be changed.
Well, one of the things that people may not know about you is that your father was a district attorney for, I think, 6 years down in the 23rd Judicial District. Is that right? Yeah, okay. That's Ascension, Assumption, and St. James parishes, yeah. Don Carmouche. And we have witnessed an extraordinary explosion in violent crime in Louisiana. I mean, what do you think has created this situation, and what do you think we can actually do about something that's so pervasive in our bigger cities in Louisiana?
Well, first, education. Number two is we have to be harder on crime. For some reason, I think we've gotten the concept wrong of we just let people out on bail for smaller amounts. We ignore major crimes in Louisiana. We need people to know here, if you commit a crime, you're going to be punished. And I think we've gotten away from that concept and actually educating kids in these schools. And to be more frank, in the jails and in the prisons. Some of these kids go to jails and prisons and they're there for a year and they're sitting around doing nothing. They work. Why can't we educate them? Not only education school-wise, math, like you talked about, reading.
But culturally.
Culturally, and to understand that when you do these things, you give up. the rest of your life and you give up your freedom. There's things that we can do in these prisons and in these jails. I was on the board of the Donaldsonville Marine Institute. It was a program where instead of sending these kids to jail when they were minors, they had an opportunity to go to this program and go to school from 7:30 to 7 at night. And a Marine Institute started in Florida.
No.
And it was in other states.
Like the U.S. Marine.
Well, I mean, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, military.
It was a military school.
Yeah.
Not military in nature, but they educated them.
Yeah.
And they understood that there's an alternative here. And the alternative is actually living in a way that you can be proud of yourself and be proud of your family and have a family. And a lot of these kids don't realize that that's available to them.
Yeah, and I guess the other part of it is that you have an entire economy that there has to be opportunity.
There has to be opportunity, and we've lost big businesses, and I'm not going to mention names, because they couldn't hire the quality of people because they didn't want to come here because of education.
Yeah.
And you know, in schools and
yeah,
places to raise their families.
Yeah. Now, how do you see the whole thing for Louisiana going forward? And not only just the coast, which is what your primary concern is with, but it's sort of the whole thing. What happens if we do the coast? What do we look forward to? What can we look forward to?
Well, first, we need a leader, and we need politicians to quit being politicians and be businessmen and work together. Too many smart people in Louisiana, and actually wake up and fight for what we live for, which is family and culture, right? So we need someone to wake up every morning to fight and go out and seek the best. We deserve the best. And we want the best businesses, we want the best education. We wake up every morning, I see this leadership, and we wake up to mediocrity. And that's been satisfactory for this state. But I think that has to change.
Different world now, isn't it?
It has to start at the top. And the top, if we don't have a leader, you don't have a leader in schools, you don't have a leader in politics, you don't have a leader in businesses. It's all the same. People don't realize it. It all starts at the top and it trickles down, and we need to be fighters. We need to win. And to win, we have to want it. And I think this state now sees we can have it, other states have it, and we can win.
You know, there was a politician that used to have a slogan called "Why Not the Best?" I forget who it was, but we're needless to say. John, I appreciate you being with us, talking with us, and we'll see you around some more. Thank you, John.
Appreciate it.
Again, we thank John Carmouche for the access, and we've got more conversations with John coming up in the weeks ahead here on Fletch Nation.
Well, Kevin, I couldn't help but see that California apparently has a little energy problem, huh?
What's going on in California is too sweet for words,
maybe they have a brain problem, like they don't have one, right?
For those of you that maybe are going, what's in California? What? Well, you know, California recently, I think the governor just signed it into law a couple of weeks ago, but California has made a resolution that by 2035, no more internal combustion vehicles.
No more fossil fuel cars is what they say. None.
I don't see that happening.
It's not happening.
But while they're telling everybody, get an electric car, this week they're telling everybody, don't charge your electric car because we have electrical grid issues. Don't run your air conditioner.
We're having rolling blackouts.
Rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
California's messed up.
Yeah, you see, California has a plan. Jennifer Granholm, the Energy Secretary, said yesterday that California was the model for the future.
Let's hope not.
Jen?
Let's hope not.
Jen is from Michigan. She was a governor up there, and apparently she has stubbed her toe.
Did you hear what our cameraman Marty just said? When you said California is the model for the future, he said, so is China. Thank you, Marty Campbell.
But by the way, they all work together really well, along with Trudeau up in Canada. So they're all working together.
Let's not forget that Energy Secretary Granholm is the person who said, well, if you can't afford gas, get an electric car.
Get an electric car.
Because,
go get that $70,000 electric car.
Yeah, I mean, a cheap one is $50K. Cheap one is $50K.
Yeah, you don't want to drive that.
And I'm going to relate this story. A friend of mine posted this on Facebook, and probably a lot of people have seen the post because it's gone viral, but their Nissan Leaf needed a new battery, electric car.
$25,000.
$22,000 for the battery alone. Forget the installation charge.
Alone.
Because to replace the battery, you've got to completely separate the body from the chassis and lift the body of the car up to replace the battery.
Oh, so you got a little labor cost involved.
A little bit of labor cost.
A little bit, about $5,000.
$1,000.
Oh, is it?
Just they're not practical. They're not. It's not practical.
The whole thing is ridiculous. And
I mean, someday maybe, but not today.
Well, if you can afford it and you want to do it, fine. But for the rest of us plebes, we'll drive. I'm pretty happy to driving that fossil fuel and seeing that heat, that temperature go up, and everybody claim that it's global warming.
Roy, I have a question about California though. Where's this? California's got a lot of really rich people, and a lot of those really rich men like to collect cars. And
where are they?
In 2035, are you no longer going to be able to drive your cherry sweet 1967 Chevy Corvette?
Apparently not, unless you get that battery put in it, Kevin. Then you can just have the body, but the motor is electric.
I mean, I just
it's funny. If they would stop talking, what they decide is that the battery is the energy. Well, the battery's not the energy. It's just the holder of the energy. Where'd they get the energy from?
Fossil fuels.
Coal. That's where they get it from.
Coal, oil.
Yeah.
Some electrical generating plants burn kerosene.
Yeah.
Nuclear power. I know the green people hate nuclear power, although it's probably the cleanest form of energy we have right now.
That's right. And then, of course, we have natural gas that's so abundant that you stick a stick in the ground around Louisiana and you're going to find natural gas. Mm-hmm. So, but we can't use that because, warming, right? Yeah. We got warming
Climate
problems.
change.
Warming problem. I want you to see kind of warming that they have in Europe this winter.
They'll wish they had some climate change.
They're going to be begging for some global warming in Europe this winter.
It's just a mess. It's
and by the way, I read this morning, I just read the headline, apparently Vladimir Putin has decided to go back on a grain deal he's got with Europe. So he's cut off the natural gas and the oil, and now he's going to cutting off the wheat. It's not going to be, and I suspect that Europe will try to buy American wheat by driving up the price. And guess what happens to the old American consumer?
Mm-hmm. We get shafted again.
We get shafted. We get shafted again. But we're going to keep getting shafted. And every week we're going to be here to tell you about it and to complain about it and give you an idea.
And we'll
come back now. You hear?
Next week, right here on Fletch Nation on the Pelican. Take care.
You've been listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.